Hello, dear friends. I guess I'm not the only one who has been nervous these days because of the frequency change. My defense is to proclaim my divine and luminous identity. It's like the Big Bang. Opinion piece. I am light. Let the shadow become light. Shadow is the means of revealing form. The pressure is reaching a critical point. It is as if the world is ending. Mother Earth is ready to graduate. We are at the moment of crossing the Red Sea. The QFS has been in operation since August 2020. The transition to the new system would take 2 years. There would be visible changes in the next 3 months. There would be a window from November 15th to January 15th. There is no rush to change because safety comes first. Lightworkers are not necessarily rich or famous. Outage or supply alarms could be a cover-up. Gold price rises as US dollar falls. Algeria cuts its largest gas pipeline with Spain after 20 years in operation. Secret formula to eliminate microplastics from water born in Madrid. Let's start. I am light and I come from the light, there where the light originated. Repeat this decree of the Master every time you feel lost, attacked or worried, and you will see the result, because you will feel at peace. Light is a physical agent, an electromagnetic wave in the visible spectrum that makes objects visible, but it is also a spiritual agent that makes deception visible, and at the same time gives clarity of mind, enlightenment and culture. The light of reason is the human being's knowledge of things by natural speech that distinguishes him from irrational animals. To shine the light of reason means to begin to open the understanding to the knowledge of things, and to bring something to light consists in discovering, manifesting, making patent and notorious what was hidden. Light, like all electromagnetic radiation, is formed by elementary particles devoid of mass called photons, whose properties, according to the wave-particle duality, explain the characteristics of their physical behavior. It is a spherical wave. The aesthetics of light, also called metaphysics of light or theology of light, was a current of thought within the aesthetic philosophy of the Middle Ages, which identified light with divine beauty. It developed within the scholastic philosophy, mainly between the 13th and 14th centuries, which sought to study God from more rationalist postulates, for which they relied mainly on Aristotelian philosophy, but without renouncing faith. This theory greatly influenced medieval art, especially Gothic art. Leonardo da Vinci describes in maximum detail the application and meaning of light and shadow. In quotes, "Shadow is the lack of light and only the resistance of opaque bodies that impede the rays of light. But its nature, shadow belongs to darkness, while light by its nature belongs to luminosity. The one hides, the other reveals. They are always together on bodies, and shadow has more pictorial power than light. Shadow is the means by which bodies reveal their forms. Thus darkness is the first link of shadow and light the last. Therefore, you, painter, have to make the shadow as dark as possible near its origin, and let the end of the shadow become light so that it seems as if it has no end." Reset news. According to Simon Parkes, HSBC will lead the process through Hong Kong's Shanghai Banking Corp. He adds that the center of the US financial reset will not be in Reno, but in Temple, Texas. According to Charlie Ward, the QFS quantum financial system has been fully operational since August 2020, which is over a year ago, and has been tested many times to make sure there are no infiltrations from the dark side. It was connected to Starlink and the Space Force about 4 to 6 weeks ago to get into the current banking system as we transition. It will take a couple of years to fully transition from one system to the other without causing too much damage. The money would come out of the QFS through the Starlink system into what is known as a legacy fund, or what they are doing now is making sure that there is no contamination or theft of money, but no funds are lost, and they are not in a hurry because security comes first. They will make sure they get it right and make sure there is no contamination. What they do not want to do is to have contaminated money in the system. The awakening process is to help awaken the rest asleep, but those who are already awake will find it frustrating. They want it done yesterday. They wanted everything done urgently. But it is understood by those who know why we are going through this process of delay. It doesn't bother me at all if it's done this week, this month, or even this year, if it is done correctly, even if it takes us to the beginning of the next year. It doesn't bother me. As long as we move to a new world that is clean and free, then I'll be happy. Everything is completely under control. According to John 7, if you say nothing is happening, you are the problem. There is a lot going on. The pressure is reaching a critical point. The heat is getting intense. We are at the point of crossing the Red Sea. According to the Storm Rider, Christmas Eve 1963 was the day 77 generals met and the plan to save the world was born. 3 months later, 133 generals became part of the Operation Freedom Eagles 35. Tidal waves, solar flares, threatening worldwide destruction, and power grid failures or such news could be a cover for Tesla's worldwide financial reboot and switch to free energy. According to Sananda, light workers are not necessarily rich or famous, but many are struggling to survive, are poor, operate on a flimsy budget in a small room in a house, and live quietly and undisturbed. If we made them famous and rich beyond belief and told everyone who they were, they probably would have been put in a cage and called crazy. Even the light workers themselves do not remember all that is in the enlightened realms, because they too lack memory. Some have been told something, but they think it is hard to believe. According to Atom, the graduation process of Mother Earth has begun. Gaia is holding her breath to make everything look normal, but it is not normal because she is ready to exhale at any moment. Her volcanoes are ready to activate, the waters are rising, and when she graduates, it will be without warning. All signs are that Mother Earth is ready to graduate. We do not know the exact timing, but by the sequence of events she has prepared, she is holding on a little longer. Puffner said, "You are nearing the end of much of the drama, and the master craftsmen who are planning ahead for many things are trying to sort out what will work and what might work. There are things in the works that are too big and too sensitive to share, but rest assured that they are preparing for an all-out fight against the elementals behind it all. We believe it could begin to work in the next 3 months. There will be a major ton of events, and that is in the window of the realm of change. Everything is coming together and the marks are on the wall. We are ready and the whole network is ready. There are many pieces of this whole thing that are about to be mended and achieve the expected outcome. We thank everyone who has been patient and kind. That is the only true path of action that is needed at this time. I am not comfortable in saying that something is coming down relatively soon. If all goes according to plan, there would be visible changes in the next 3 months. I have personally heard that there is a window of opportunity opening up from mid-November to mid-January, but we don't know anything for sure. Economy. Gold rises as dollar falls. Gold prices rose Monday as the dollar fell ahead of a Federal Reserve meeting, where the focus is on the central bank's plan to taper its stimulus measures. OPEC clashes with US. OPEC is heading for a showdown with the US as more members rejected President Biden's call for the group to increase oil production faster and help lower gasoline prices. Inflation wage data challenge Fed's transitory narrative. Price and wage increases hitting multi-decade highs may challenge Federal Reserve officials this week as they try to maintain a balance between ensuring inflation remains contained and giving the economy as much time as possible to restore jobs. Stocks open at record highs. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq indexes opened at record highs Monday, led by gains in Tesla and energy stocks at the start of a week packed with economic data, as well as a possible move by the Federal Reserve to slow bond buying. High Bitcoin price evidence that we are having a crisis moment, PayPal co-founder says. Peter Thiel, co-founder of online payments company PayPal, said last Sunday that the high value of Bitcoin indicates the economy is facing real inflation, and stressed that rising prices are not transitory, criticizing the Federal Reserve Board for failing to address the issue and acknowledge its severity. US South Korea launched and announced military air maneuvers. South Korean and US air units were deployed Monday to participate in reduced war games after North Korea fired a submarine-launched ballistic missile in mid-October, according to a military official in Seoul. Europe. European stocks start November with new highs. European stocks hit record highs on Monday, entering November with strong momentum backed by upbeat earnings reports, while a surge in banking shares boosted Eurozone markets. London and Paris fight over the right to fish. Paris and London have engaged in a duel of words and moral threats of retaliation in defense of their respective fishing fleets, which risks sparking a trade war between the UK and the European Union, EU. Britain tells France, back down in 48 hours or well get tough. Britain gave France 48 hours on Monday to back down in a fisheries row, which threatens to spiral into a wider trade dispute between two Europe's biggest economies, or face the buyer's legal action under the Brexit trade deal. Germany turns disaster preparedness into an apocalyptic carnival. The people of North Rhine-Westphalia will hold an apocalypse preparedness session by participating in a blackout, dubbed National Disaster Protection Day 2021, where the aim of the exercise is to imagine Germany suddenly plunged into darkness without electricity and how you would react to survive. Algeria cuts its largest gas pipeline with Spain after 25 years due to tensions with Morocco. The closure of this pipeline passing through Morocco will be compensated by increasing the capacity of the Medgaz pipeline, which directly links the Algerian port of Beni Suef with Almeria, according to Algiers. For this, its capacity will be increased from the current 8,000 million cubic meters of natural gas to 10,500. Products will be in short supply at Christmas. You may not have noticed it yet, but many products are becoming scarce around the world due to the collapse of the supply chain, that invisible route that takes goods from where they are manufactured, often in Asia, to where they are sold in the West. Microchips, indispensable for technological manufacturing, are also missing, as are numerous raw materials, a dangerous cocktail which is driving up prices and raising fears of product shortages next Christmas. A secret formula to eliminate microplastics from water is born in Madrid. Captoplastic is an initiative to eliminate this element that ends up in the oceans. The patent is developed by a research team in a Spanish public faculty and private capital. They have just been awarded and are looking for customers to manufacture it and distribute the invention. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.